There we go. There we go.
And we're live. Another episode of The Oddest Couple with John Alite and our special guest today, is it Derrick Yancey?
Yes.
Okay. Before we get into that, though, we just started our Patreon channel, which we're very excited about. We did it 3-4 years ago when John and I used to do the show together, did really well. We had people call into the show. We had people ask us questions. We had bonus episodes. Everything was up there early. So we're going to do that, but we're going to add a whole lot more with personalized video messages, depending on the tier of your subscription, personalized, calls, and we'll have one-on-one calls with John and you on occasion. Bonus episodes. What we're going to talk about with Derrick today is when he came to our live show. Our live show is on Patreon right now. Our live show is amazing at City Winery just about a couple weeks ago, I think. So go.
First time we seen Jay.
It was the first time, and it's really cool. It was the first time that Derrick and John saw each other, and it was completely unexpected. And it was probably really, the best moment of the evening. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But if you're listening to this right now, or if you're watching this right now, to sign up to our Patreon channel, go to the description of this video or this audio. It'll also be all over our social media. You can also go to patreon.com/The Oddest Couple Podcast. Subscribe. Subscriptions start as little as $8 a month, and I promise you will enjoy it. The content, the access, the direct correspondence with us is really what we're looking for. We get so many questions, so many messages that we just can't go through it, and we're excited to have our little community back. So patreon.com/The Oddest Couple Podcast. Let's get into it today. Derrick, really good to see you. For me, it's the second time.
See you too.
The first time was a really cool moment where we had our live show at City Winery, and I think it was more towards the end of the show. I think you asked a question basically to John, kind of like, do you remember me from jail? And it was really a beautiful moment. Actually, a lot of people that talked to me after the show and friends that were there told me that was the best part of the night, because it was literally seeing two people that spent a fair bit of time together and in not the best circumstances, but there was like love and a true brotherly connection. And you guys hadn't seen each other in 20 plus years?
Man, I used to hate him because he'd get me stretching, and I couldn't stretch. And he's a big, strong guy. So when you used to stretch and I was like, oh my, I'm the worst. You remember how bad I was?
It felt good though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my legs were killing me. I'm like, man, this ain't easy stretching like that.
Yeah, I would tell him, John, you got to stretch your skin, work it out. Now stretch, you got to stretch.
Yeah.
So I guess to start, describe how do you find out about this live show, for example?
Well, I was downstairs in my building, giving up, putting some cans in the recycling bin, and this guy who works in my building starts talking to me, and he starts talking about your show, right? And he says, the Albanian king. I'm like, what? I was like, Albanian. I said, man, I don't want to hear nothing about no Albanian king. It's only one Albanian king. I know him. That's my dude. And I said, and his name is John Alite. He said, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, nah, man, he's not out. He's like, yo, he's out. He's got a podcast. And I ran upstairs and checked it out. I was like, wow. I was so happy to see it. I was thrilled that he was back home, away from all that pressure he was under. That he was out here and he was alive and everything was going well for him. I was so happy about that. I told my wife, I said, I got to go see him. She's like, yo, he probably remember me. I said, no, it's my friend. I got to go see him. I'm going to go down there. First chance I get, I'm going to go see him. So you guys' show popped up. And I kept waiting for something good to ask. I hope he remembers me because I hadn't seen him in a minute. I got a bald head now, got a little gray around my whiskers, But he said he recognized me as soon as he saw me.
And under all those lights,
I know, it's so bright.
Those lights bright. It was hard to see, I went like this. I put my head, and the first thing I'm like Yancey. And your wife was on a lap, and she goes, I guess he recognized you, right? I mean, you look the same, man. You're always in good shape. You're always big. And, we hung out together every day. We used to kick it every day, we'd talk, work out, play sports.
Not that people didn't like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't liked by many people that made it was close like that.
Well, until, and I said it that night, right? Because, I hate talking about color. Everybody knows that. And no matter what, you got to bring it up. But we were so close, and I talk about the street where we come from. It wasn't like that with us. So, these other phony guys, and, listen, they're full of shit. We know that. We know what all these guys are about.
So how many years did you guys do together in jail?
A couple of years, I guess. We were actually,
At least 5 years there.
yeah.
And do you remember the first time you met him?
I was walking the path, and he was walking the path. And he's the only Italian guy there that walks by himself.
Well, Albanian.
And Italian, right? And he's only walking by himself. So he was walking. I'm walking behind him, and he said something like, "I wish I was at Shea Stadium right now." So next day for hit Shea Stadium to watch a game. I looked at her. I knew he was from New York at the time. I said, "Yeah." I said, 7 train take you right there. He looked at me like, "How you?" Yeah. We started talking. He told me where he was from. I told him where I should be at, hang out in Queens and run in New York and everything. And we kind of built a relationship off of that. That's when we just started talking about freedom and being home. And in the summer, we want to go to the beach, stuff like that, that we couldn't do in there. We just started talking about those type of things. That's what we spoke about.
And then what was your first impression of him?
My first impression of him was that he was definitely different from the other guys that was there, from the other Italian guys that were there. Definitely different. I didn't know who he was, right? We had built a friendship. I didn't know who he was. So we never talked about anything in the street, just talking about life things. Yeah. And one day I saw him I was watching TV. I looked and I'm like, "That's Johnny." Someone that said, "Yo, man, you on TV." And this one made me like him a lot more. And looked at me and said, "Shh, don't say that." I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And most of the people there didn't even know who he was. Kept a low profile, mind his business, doing his thing. But I used to look at him and I used to wonder, like, yo, why is he around them dudes? I couldn't figure it out because he's not like them at all. Way different.
Why were you around those dudes?
Because I was a lot smarter than them. Now, you know what? Like, and later on, as we keep hanging out, he knows, and we talk about it. And, when the fights jumped off, they would all run. They weren't there during the fights. And when some serious fights happened, and it was about 6, 7, 8 guys, they all got in the day room on a fight that I jumped in. Had nothing to do with me, but they jumped the guy, and I didn't really particularly stay with the guy or nothing, but I didn't like that they jumped him, so I jumped in. When I jumped in, they all left me, but he's still with me. And guys were like, "Oh, it was going to be like that? You standing with him?" And he said, "Yeah, it's like that." And we went into the day room, which everybody was knifing up and whatever they were doing. And, we didn't back down. That's just the way it was.
And they decided that's not what they wanted to do. They didn't want to take it that far. I received some backflack behind that, but I told him, I said, "Yo, Johnny's from New York. And I mess with him. That's my dude. And so I'm not going to let you jump him. You don't want to fight him one-on-one, but you don't need to fight him at all." Mm-hmm. So I'm like, "Yeah, you don't want to do a one-on-one with him, so you don't get to do it at all." Mm-hmm. And that's where it is. The other guys, and it was bad after that because everybody looked at them like,
yeah.
"Oh my God."
Well, they all
ran. They all ran and left him. Looking at Johnny like, "Yo, why are you even around them dudes anymore now? Right. Why do you even talk to them now?" But it's like, it's sex in jail. Everybody has set. It's like you're supposed to belong in this set, and that set, and you in that set. That's why me and him being close.
Yeah, we broke that rule.
They didn't really like that. They had to wear it.
They ended up ratting me out, put me out. I went to the hole for a long time, and I get out for a minute and right back into the hole again. And I don't know what's going on in the compound. I just know they're all giving me up.
Yeah, I found out he wasn't at the door yet, and then one of the officers out that he was cool with came to me and said, "Yo, man, you're telling on your man already. He ain't even home yet." Yeah. By the time he got the door, they was telling everything.
Where was this jail when you guys were together?
We ended up in Allenwood.
Okay.
We ended up in Allenwood later on, yeah.
And that's describe the conditions for us on a scale of bad good to.
It's just like any other joint, man. You do your own time, you mind your business. When McKean before that, they're all the same. To be honest with you, when people tell you it's different, they're all there's jail.
It wasn't the roughest place, but something can happen to you there. Remember that the Mexican guy?
Yeah.
What happened?
I didn't know that was going on there. I'm like, yo, this is madness over there. Who's down there? And these dudes, some guy came in there, and the Mexican guys in the other unit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't know that was still happening in jail.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. It was like, it was disgusting, but like, what the hell is going on over there? But it wasn't a 9 unit.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have stood for that 9 unit. Like,
yeah.
you're not doing that.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's jail, and bad things happen.
And how many years did you do total?
In there?
And total.
I was talking to John and added up. I probably got about almost 20 years in.
And what was, if you're allowed to talk about reasons or why?
Actually, my last case I was in, I wasn't supposed to be in jail for that time. That that XJ-7 thing they tried to enhancement.
Yeah.
Right. I got hit with that after I got found not guilty.
What is that for people listening that they don't?
So, it's something they use for enhancement, but they got rid of the law. They kicked back maybe like 6-7 years ago. Threw that out because they was illegally enhancing people's sentence behind closed doors. I went to trial for murder, for attempt murder, for conspiracy to murder and drug trafficking. Well, I got found not guilty of murder, conspiracy to murder, and drug trafficking. But they found me guilty in the judge's chamber with the district attorney for some 7-J7 incidents, and they gave me 10 years when I wasn't supposed to get that time. If they supposed to got just in charge, I'm supposed to have been a year or whatever, and I'm supposed to be.
And the funny thing is, I think I'm even darker than you.
Jesus.
Well,
I know.
Systems just, not always, but it is on a lot of occasions. It's just what it is.
And so I appealed to what I was going through it. At one time, it seemed like I was looking like I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
It's because they denied them. Like, you got me behind closed doors. I had a jury trial, so why didn't the jury give me this time? Mm-hmm. The jury said no. But you get behind closed doors and feel like you can do what you want to do, and that's what they did. So I ended up getting 110 months, and they told me I shouldn't be crying about that shit. I should have had life a long time ago. Yeah. That's what he told me, as a district attorney tells me. And he also said it wasn't fair that they didn't find me guilty.
What were you in for before that 10-year stint?
Drug possession. Okay. Yeah, it was a state bid. I had a larceny as a kid, being like 18, 19 years old. I had a larceny charge.
Yeah.
What was Hop there for, too?
Hop was there for drug dealing. That's what he was there.
He was his partner in there. That Hop was like him. Hop didn't really talk to nobody, actually. Nobody either.
Yeah.
And, we were.
Yeah, Hop,
I like Hop, too. He was a good guy. Quiet.
Tall, real guy, yeah. One of the real, I liked him because I like you because you remind me of me. Yeah. You're not fake, he's real. And Miss Hop got gunned down execution style in Philly, Chester, PA. Yeah.
That's where the case for Oscar Lugo that we're going to talk about, his daughters are coming. He's in Chester where they gave him that 440 years where Hop ended up getting killed.
What were you like as a kid when were you wild?
I'm just like Johnny Foreman. I'm the fighter. I didn't start out wild. I started being picked on, and then I was so sensitive about that. So I started being like, I'm not accepting it. So I started being a real good fighter. And what happens is you be a real good fighter, people start challenging.
Yeah.
Now it becomes a game. Yeah. Just come from side town.
Where'd you grow up?
Set you out. Grew up in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
So that became, I was telling somebody before, I started getting jumped like 10 and 15 people at a time. The first 2 times, and I won. Yeah. I when I had to run, I won. But I'm like, how many times is that going to happen? Because we was growing up in this early 70s, some martial arts was everything. I all learned martial arts. And I was very good at it. Just like I adapted to it, and I understood it like it was breathing. So it was very easy for me to do that. So after I started getting jumped so much, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to keep winning, getting jumped by 10 or 15 people. It's not going to keep happening. So that's when the ball started coming to play. Started bringing knives, started bringing guns out. I'm like, you're trying to kill me, not trying to beat me up. So that's, you know what I mean? And then you know, when you're a tough guy, you meet other tough guys. Hey, I like you. Come on over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get to meet other people, and that's how it all starts.
And did you know that it could lead you down a bad path, or did you it was just survival at that point?
You know, to be honest with you, you got them who grew up in the 60s and the 70s. And on TV, all you hear is cowboys and gangster movies.
Yeah.
Right? And so, hey, by the time I was 16 years old, I thought I'd be rich and be a gangster. Why, you know what I mean? Why be?
We got there for a while. We were all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? We were fighting a lot in the street, in jail. You know,
That's what happens.
and that's why you know, like a lot of these guys, it's a small community.
Yeah.
We all know each other. We know each other from the street,
Or one friend
or we
from
from another friend to another friend.
Yeah.
We're all moving together with each other, without each other, but know each other. So, you know, when we started to hanging out more, we're talking more about our neighborhoods, who we know, who this,
Right.
friends with us. And then when the fighting starts, we see who's really real in jail, because these guys all, listen, they won't want to change history. We talk about this all the time. But then there's always guys like we haven't seen in 25 years who know the truth. You know, guys that'll keep coming out of prisons that were friends with me, I'm friends with them, I was friends with Hawk. We know who was real. And unfortunately, along the way, a lot of us are getting killed. But, you know, and you know, we got different lives now, and, you know, it's just what it is.
Because one of the things that we try to do with this show, I mean, ever since John's been out, how many years now? 12? Since last time, 12? Is really try to talk to inner city kids and people and kids that are at risk, you know, that grew up in tough neighborhoods, seemingly like yourselves. And
we talked to Dan. You remember Dan that we had on the show a couple times? Him and Mike that died from Brownsville, and you when we were together
over
at Vernon, we were too. Well, we were in Bronxville actually. But remember, Dan got on the phone with us. He was talking about he's got something going on now in Brownsville again. He just invited us to.
But like a lot of it is trying to, you know, send a positive message. I think for you, if you had to give a message to that kid yourself when you were 14, 15 and starting to get around that life, what would it be?
I told myself to stay focused at doing what you do best. How to let me to the ring when I belonged there. I was supposed to be the champion in the ring.
Yeah.
That's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to take gift and went that way with it. I went the long way with it. Right. That's what I would tell myself.
Yeah. Do you have regrets about?
Yeah, life is full of regrets, man. I don't care if you do everything right, you still gonna regret some things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got regrets. I watched the movie Creed, right? You know, I'm like, yeah, I feel like that. I supposed to got my shot at it, didn't get a shot, but that's life though, man. Everybody's, like I told someone before, using the best of people to do the best sports or whatever it is, you'll get to see them, get to see other guys. Right? You know, I grew up with guys that was supposed to be in the pros of the NBA. They didn't make it.
Yeah.
But you see the other guys there, you're like, the guy's nowhere near as good as my friend.
Yeah.
But it's just the way the way it goes.
Right.
Don't mean everybody's not going to make it. Even you could be great, and you still might not make it. That's the way life goes.
Yeah. How easy or hard was it for you to adapt to come back into regular society after jail?
Oh, I had to act like I was still in prison. The biggest problems to get out, you got bills, you got to pay, you got to see you in jail. You get that's gone for a minute.
Right.
You got no bills to pay.
Yeah.
So you can sit there. You know, you're under pressure. But when you get back out of here, you got to live like everybody else lives. You need bills. Got to pay bills. You got car, and you want to do like everybody else do. It's hard working for money that you just spend in a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it was for me because we talk about it. How'd you get yourself to stop from being violent, going after anybody, hurting anybody when they were talking, or getting in your way, or disrespecting you, like, you know?
Oh, I still have problems dealing with that. And what I do now is stay secluded more. I don't go out to clubs. I don't go places where people will be drinking and acting up because I know that I can revert back to in just one moment. It only takes a moment for you to lose your consciousness. And I ain't gonna lie, John, I was in the pizza shop one day, and somebody reached over and put his armpits over my pizza. And I looked at him. I was going to say something, and then something said, "No, don't say nothing, because this is going to escalate and become more than
you want it.
four slices of pizza."
Yeah.
I threw it in the garbage and went to the store.
Yeah.
So you say, as you get older, I know it ticks me off. I know my peeves, so I see it happening. Okay, it's time for me to leave. I still left a job that I was working at because it got to the point where people even put his hands on me, right? And I'm like, that hasn't happened to me since I was a kid. So I realized, I said, okay, this is not working for me, and I'm thinking about doing things I shouldn't be thinking about doing because I'm past that. So the best thing I can do is just leave this job so I won't have to go through this.
Yeah.
I understand the people, I have to deal with them, and I don't have to deal with this issue. But it's hard. It's hard, y'all. It's hard lowering your wings to people when they're acting up and you're not used to accepting that. I still have problems when people talk to me crazy. I still have problems with that. And you just get quiet and turn around and walk away because I already know if I entertain it,
You're going to
what's
go back
gonna
to
happen?
jail for a long time.
And
You're going to hurt them. You're
yeah,
going to hurt them bad.
yeah, exactly.
The biggest
And
thing is to learn.
You can't even fight no more. Like when we was growing up, somebody, you can get a fist fight, okay, you ain't got to go to jail. But now you go to jail for a fist fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can't even do that anymore.
To learn to humble ourselves. I think as you get older, you learn that there's a direction you got to teach other kids.
And-
Humble yourself, to let go of your ego, and
That's the whole thing about it. That's the whole thing. That's the biggest thing. The
And
ego and pride.
and you got a good life. You got a good wife. You got those are the
Yeah, well,
things.
that's been my saving grace.
Yeah.
That I have good support.
Yeah.
The immediate family.
I like the
mother,
way she
father,
laughed
sisters,
actually that
and
night.
My wife, she's just.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Very sweet woman.
John told me to marry her when he was in there. He's like, you need to marry her.
Yeah.
Don't let her go. Marry her.
Yeah.
And I did. So.
And that's amazing. And I think, I commend you for showing that self-restraint. I think that hopefully people listening, right? Like what you're saying, it ain't worth it over a slice of pizza. It ain't worth it over a job. Nothing, like you have a good life.
He's gonna sit in the jail cell.
I know.
And you're looking at the balls
And
in your hand,
you're
why
just
am
like,
I here?
yeah, you're
For a
like,
slice of pizza?
exactly,
Because of a job? No, you can't. No, can't do
Yeah, but it's hard, and I think too, in those moments, you probably, I imagine, subconsciously probably think about your wife, right, and how you don't want to put her through that again or you through that again.
Do it again? No, they don't want to. I did that too much in my life, so I don't want them going through that no more.
Yeah,
I feel good about them knowing that I'm not living that life no more.
You know what's crazy? People, I'm not going to intimidate anybody. I'm not a big guy, but you're a big guy, man. You're a strong guy, big guy. So yet they still push that.
you're 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, no, 6'3" with my heels on.
Well, it's stilettos on.
But he's you're a big,
but
you've always been big, strong. So, but guys still test that water. It's weird the way people do that.
No, it's not. This is new age, John. This age right now, they got a situation with you. They put it on YouTube. They put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you do anything, they're gonna.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
I always say
they let everybody know they got an issue with you. That's what they're doing on Facebook.
Yeah. This is the thing that I always say is the hardest thing for kids now. Good kids, tough kids, educated kids, kids that want a good life. It's very hard because they're stuck in these computers and this and that where they can still screw with them when they're not at school, when we're not in the schoolyard, when they're home. They can still keep bothering them. And it's not, you got to commend a lot of kids that are doing the right thing. And that's why it's important for us to do the right thing, to teach them that you can do it. If we could do it, you guys could do it.
It reminds me, I saved a guy in front of my house. He was arguing with a bunch of dudes. He got 4 or 5 of his friends with him. And they arguing. When I walk out to take out the garbage, I look, and one of the guys pushed him, and he reached for his waistband. And everybody started moving backwards. And I yelled, "See, yo, man, come here, come here." So the other guys ran off, and he came over with his 4 friends. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Yo, you're on the fast track to jail." I said, "Look, you know they're going to tell on you, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I know, but that's what he ran." I said, No, I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the ones with you. They're going to tell on you.
Yeah.
I said, "Nobody wants to go to jail.
Yeah.
They're going to tell on you.
Yeah.
Take that back upstairs, man. Put it away before you get yourself in trouble, man."
Yeah.
And he listened. He got him a job now. Stay out the way. But I told him, I said, they're the ones going to tell you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I said, they're the ones they're going to tell you. All going to tell on you.
Yeah. Both sides.
Both sides of you. So you can't win.
Yeah.
Get your job and stay in the street. Stay home. You know?
So you and your wife knew each other before you went to jail?
Yeah.
how many years before you went in, or?
She grew up. She's come my neighborhood.
Okay. And you guys...
Knows I said my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the habit of claiming things.
How many were you guys? So were you guys together when you were in jail?
No, we got together while I was in jail.
While you were in jail.
Yeah.
How many years? How many years were you in jail while you were with her?
Matter of fact, I was in jail 3 years. I had 3 years
to do left.
Yes.
And what was that support like? Like, how do you maintain a relationship like that when you're in jail?
It's funny because I had told her I got 3 years left, and I'll see you when I get home, and 3 years from now. And she's like, no, I'm going to be here with you, and I'm going to finish this thing with you.
Wow.
Right? And I was like, telling her no, because that's not a burden I want to place on nobody.
Right.
But she told me that just what she wanted to do. She wanted to be there.
Now, well, you know, I kept telling him marry her.
Yeah. And and it's funny, like, I mean, obviously I don't know your wife, but even in the one interaction we had at the live show, it was so obvious how much love she has for you, and it was really beautiful to see that moment, because it wasn't just about Derrick. It was his wife was also there, and she was like emotional to see you and to see how happy he was to see you. So it's a really an amazing love story.
Yeah, it's funny because I told my wife that I knew Johnny, and she's like, well, listen, it might not be, it was 20 years ago, it might be different now, and this and that, and I'm like, no, but my wife is very protective, so she don't like nobody hurting my feelings in any kind of way. And so she was happy that
Right.
John.
Well, she said it at the show too. When I said it, I went like this with the light. I'm like, Yance? And she just looked at you, she started laughing. She goes, you're right. And then after, when me and your wife were talking, she goes, I wasn't sure. I said, man, we were close. We were together every day. And of course, we talk about everything, life. Like when you were in jail, like he said, we didn't talk about gangster shit. We didn't talk about street. We didn't talk about killing drugs. We talked about family. We talked about going to the beach, enjoying life. That's what we talking about. Yeah. And,
did you know when you were in jail, you knew that your sentence was done? Like you weren't worried about getting time added or anything like that? You knew like, okay, I'll be home in 3 years, no problem. Like we're good.
Yeah. Even though I had matter of fact, I had a situation behind that too, because John had left, and next thing you know, the feds come, they take me to NBC, and they was talking about, they was talking about asking me information about Master J. He's been deceased, and they was asking me questions about it. But like I told him, I said I've been in prison for 5 years, and I mean for this 5 year time, and they was telling me, well, you know people that you talk to and all that. I said, well, okay, you know that, and you also know that I haven't spoken to them in 5 years neither. So, but that was enough of them. So
Yeah.
They're still messing with me right now, trying to get me to go to court on that. I got caught up for grand jury for any grand jury subpoena. But like I told them, I have no information on any of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I don't know anything about it. But for some reason, anytime somebody, they want them to come to see me and speak to me. It was also my last case. My last case was obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I am doing that time. And, what they do, they threaten you again. I'm going to give you,
see,
do whatever you got to do, man.
this is the problem with the system, right there. You got a whole completely different life, living a different life, doing the right thing, married to a good woman. They just can keep coming at you when they want to come at you because they're looking for something from somebody else. This is the problem with this.
When did you get out?
I got out to the end of 2003.
So they're still on your, like they're still bothering you with shit like that.
Yeah, me and my lawyer spoke. He said, well, they got
20 years.
I said, man, they got the phone records from Allenwood, and like I said,
so they're going
once I got in prison, I realized at this point right now, it's with a trial for my life. I realized, okay, I got to be doing something wrong. Something's not right.
Right.
Okay, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to change my life. Don't make me about it. I definitely need to change my life, and I'm gonna start now. So I started in prison by not contacting and being involved with anybody doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want that in my life anymore.
So, but it's crazy that like 20 years later, it's still things that linger and still, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that was the last time you got out was 2003.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
wow.
2003. And that's what I was saying to them to do. I was like, I'm living a different life. And, he just killed me. I said, you act like you're a good guy. Not a good guy, right? They was talking about JMSJ selling drugs. I'm like, I don't know anything about him selling drugs. I never seen him selling drugs. I never seen him with a lot of money or anything. I never seen anybody giving me drugs. So I'm like, the man is deceased. You should be figuring out how to take care of that.
Right.
Trying to figure out what he did that you don't know nothing about or whatever. I don't know anything about that. And you should be worried about it. You trying to figure out why he's deceased.
Yeah, right.
That's like 20-something years ago. What are you thinking about? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
That part eludes me. I don't understand that part.
This is the problem with, same thing when we're talking to kids. Whatever we did in our past, it's always going to be with you. You're just going to have to deal with it. And that's why I keep telling kids, make the right decisions, right? Make the right decisions, because even though we change our lives, it's always going to be part of our lives, whether we like it or not. And everybody's going to still always try to challenge. And you got to be able to understand, and you got to kind of shrug it off, go the other direction and say, I got a different life now,
It's funny because it reminded me of when I was younger. My father gave me some good advice. Made me start seeing things a little different. He says, you ever notice why people that know you keep coming messing with you? And I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to figure that out. He says, because they don't want to be here anymore. And they're too scared to get rid of themselves. So they come find your dumb self.
Right.
And let you do it, because you'll do it.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, that's why they do things they do.
Yeah.
So you need to let someone else do some work.
Yeah.
You mean the only fool in the world, let someone else do some work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I learned a lesson. He's right, because some people just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
They do things, and they're like, okay, if I do to this guy, then he'll have this happen for me.
Yeah.
But, they're looking for somebody to help them out. I ain't helping nobody out. I'm not doing it.
How hard was it to rehabilitate into regular society after 20 years in jail? You mentioned paying bills, but how do you get back on your feet doing it the right way? And
you get back on your feet. You don't. You don't get back on your feet the right way. You become like everybody else. You're never gonna get back on your feet. You're never gonna be what you were before. It's never gonna happen again. Those times have gone. That time and era is gone. It's not the 80s no more. That money's not like that no more. Even everywhere around.
Yeah.
It's 180 million more people in America since that time in the 80s. You know what I mean? The money's not like that anymore. You're never gonna get that no more. You're lucky if you get to put food on your table again. You're good.
Yeah, the money was crazy back in the 80s. It was just cash. I mean, it's a different era.
But in terms of so then how do you mentally adjust and tell yourself this is life, but at least I'm free?
Well, I tell myself that I'm free, I'm alive,
Yeah.
and I'm winning.
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Yeah.
So when we come from, most of my friends
they're dead.
and peers, they're dead.
They're dead, yeah.
They're dead. And they ain't from natural causes neither.
Yeah.
There's been a few from natural causes, but not that many.
Yeah.
So just to be around still, right? That's a blessing. From all the mistakes we've made, just to be around and having freedom, you winning.
Do you remember the day you got out?
Yeah.
What was that feeling like?
I went to
like a
McDonald's.
dream.
I don't know where you went.
Like a dream.
I actually went to McDonald's. So crazy I am. Did you go to McDonald's?
No, I went to the hotel.
I went there too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, did I get McDonald's? Did I get something to eat? I wasn't even thinking about something to eat. it's been so long, it's like a dream. It didn't feel real.
Yeah.
When I woke up the next morning, that's when I realized it was real. I woke up somewhere different from in the cell block.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized it was real, that I wasn't in it anymore. But it becomes like a dream. Yeah.
Do you remember your first meal after? The one is there anyone that stuck out?
Oh, I think I had they have a soul food place up in Pelham called Yvonne's at the time. I got a meal from Yvonne's. I think I remember it was fish, candy yams, all the stuff that I couldn't get in there, Yeah.
How good did it taste?
Hey, it tastes excellent.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
We got a lot of things in there until everybody started telling on me.
What'd you guys get?
Everything. I was bringing in wine. I was bringing lobster. I was bringing
No
everything.
way, really?
Yeah. Yeah, then they all gave me up. They tell you I wasn't all everybody was talking.
Yeah.
Wine?
I got everything.
Lobster?
Brought everything in there. Yeah, pastas. I brought.
Oh,
You know,
oh, you're eating good.
I'm the only one that was bringing everything but drugs. I wasn't bringing drugs, and I got jammed up. I was bringing everything but drugs. I was just bringing stuff so we can eat. You know, so
Yeah, 'cause I didn't even. Well, I figured what's going on in there.
Right.
I'm like, think about people selling drugs in there.
Yeah.
No, what's the name? There was a. It was a gambling ring. They all got busted.
Yeah.
And John's like, "Oh, they didn't get you." I'm like, "No, sir." No, sir. I told him, I said, "Money, if you're in jail and you're getting busted, then you have no business doing anything.
Yeah.
Anything at all. Because you're getting busted in there."
Steve McQueen used to play in a movie where he was always getting locked up in the hole, in a German movie. So they were joking because I was always in the hole.
Right.
I was constantly, and I would be sleeping, and he'd be like, "Here they come again." And I'd be like, I said, "Here I go again. They're coming to lock me up." But he knew. He kept telling me too. Why you talk to these guys? They're always giving you up. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And that's why he said, "I don't even know why you even talk to anymore." But it's just the way it is. You
Like
know a lot of guys. You grow up with them or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a circle. I said, tell Hawk that you was the only one that was real.
Yeah.
What's that guy name? The guy that gave up Nikki. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said, "Money, no." I said, "All them dudes is fake, man." I said, "John is the only one of these dudes is real."
Yeah.
There's some guys you go to prison forever.
Yeah.
They wanted him to put the machines
Yeah.
in Philly. The
Right.
one-armed
Oh,
bandits.
yeah.
The one-armed bandits, so they wanted him to do. And I told him, "Some money, don't deal with
Yeah.
him."
Oh, yeah, that was good advice when you told them. I remember when they told him. And you said that.
He was mad at
Yeah.
He was mad telling Johnny them that I said that he wasn't. I said, "If I do," I said, "No, man, don't do it. Just do it." I said, "Yeah, I'm going in jail."
Yeah.
Yeah, and he tells me that he's a gangster. And I look at him and his dead as I said, "Ain't no gangster, man. What you talking about?"
Well, that's the thing. They think they got the market on being gangsters because they're Italian. And they're soft, most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they just are.
Yeah.
There's always a handful that aren't, but most of them are.
Do you remember your...
I liked him. There's another old man there. And the other old man.
Yeah.
I like the old man.
Yeah.
The old man and the other old guy. These are the only guys I like. They were old time. They're old time mob.
He's talking about Tommy Gambino, the old man at the time.
Okay.
He was a very nice guy. He's quiet.
Yeah.
He was just a gentleman.
Yeah, definitely a gentleman.
The old man Bob, he died. That's was his brother-in-law actually.
Mm-hmm.
He was a nice guy, minded his own business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about your time in jail now?
Sometimes something happens and I remember something that happens, but for the most part, matter of fact, I've seen him brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what it does because
Right.
we start joking and talking stories again back and forth. We did this, we did that. I go play basketball. I mean, he was a good basketball player,
He could.
So I go out. Yeah. I come out there. I'll be like, I'll stand over here. I played handball. I
I
won't
came
play
out there
that.
with you a few times, so I played handball.
Yeah.
You feel like there's no, because John's spoken about, we did shows on, like PTSD or any of these kind of stresses. Do you have any of that?
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to talk about because sometimes somebody rolls up on you and start talking in your face. John tell you, in prison, that means it's time for you to get busy.
Yeah.
It's time for you to get busy. There's no time for you to be doing anything other than that. And I hear it doesn't mean that, but you're still
Yeah.
but you're
Still thinking that.
like, okay, this may be something, you know what I mean? And it's kind of hard to get yourself off it because it's like taking yourself off point.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's something you have to deal with. I've been dealing with that, and like people will do that, and they don't want to do this. They don't want to do anything. They just express themselves or whatever they're doing. But it's not the same. It's different. It's definitely different. There's PTSD involved in it. It is because people act a certain kind of way, yell, scream at me. That gets me feeling that way. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's definitely things involved in that. And sometimes when I see some people in the street sometimes they pull out with them knives, I get flashbacks of that right there. I was working in a health center, and so I was helping a guy. and we was in the bathroom. He asked me if I seen his coat. I'm like, no, I don't see your coat. I haven't seen your coat in here. Just look for it. It's not in here. I don't know where you left it at. So when you walk out the door, you're supposed to turn to the right. To the left is a closet. And I'm glad he went to the left and not to the right. He went out before I did. And when I came out, he went to the left by the closet and left it for me to walk out to the right. But when I came out, he seen me and he flicked the knife out. And that's the point I almost had a flashback. If I'd have been with my back against the wall, I would have had a flashback. Being that I was able to move,
get out of it. Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's not that moment. This guy is having a moment. He's not,
right.
You know, I mean, he's not right in the head. So everything kind of calmed down for me. But if I'd have been against that wall, ain't no telling what would have happened.
So what did you say to him? Like, what would you say to him?
I told him to put the knife back in his pocket, and we'll go upstairs, and we'll go in the camera and see if we can find his coat. You know, but he was having a moment. I almost had a moment.
Yeah.
You know, and was able to get that down. But that's a part of PTS right there, because I believe if my back would have been against the wall, I would have acted different.
Right.
And I could
get away from it.
I get away from it. It kind of lessened it for me.
Yeah, but that's still scary. I mean, even if like somebody who didn't have, you know, the background or had been like, for me, it's equally a scary moment. But it's pretty amazing that you handle it like that. Because what do you think in that moment? Do you just start thinking as well of what means to you, what really means to you know, what's important to you, and if you act the way you used to, you'll go right back to jail?
Well, actually, my first thought when he pulled the knife out was like, okay, it's about to happen. But he didn't attack.
What'd he say?
He starts talking about, I stole his coat.
Yeah.
And everything. And I'm like, okay, he didn't attack me, so something's going on with him mentally. And he didn't attack me, so it was like, okay, I can maybe talk him out of this.
Right.
He's not coming at me with the knife.
Yeah.
If he came at me with the knife, then I obviously would have reacted. It's no
Yeah,
time to
yeah.
Some time to think when things like that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Any?
What? He got a million. What's the names here? Oh, is he going now?
The names?
No, all the damn cuts used to have.
Oh, I got them all over. Yeah. I got them on my stomach, on my arms.
John, he had like a million cuts on his arm right there. Yeah.
I got my hand. Yeah. My stomach.
From regular.
I got everything. I got cuts every my neck. I got them all over. I hide them good.
Yeah. See, that's the only.
That's one of the things, you know, because go back when I first jumped in the fight. One of the guys actually I was real cool with, Muhammad. I was cool with him. Even afterwards, when we went to the hole, his family came. They asked us, "Are we going to be all right?" They were shocked to see him. Muhammad was a big bastard.
Mm-hmm.
So when we came out, we hugged. You know, and the guards were asked us before we went on the visit, "Are you guys going to be okay with each other?" And we hugged, and he says, "John, why'd you get in that?" And he says, "I thought we're cool." I said, "We are cool." He says, "But it wasn't necessary, all you guys, to jump him." I said, I just wasn't going to allow it. And then it went from that to more guys jumped in against me, then he came in. But the thing is, when they go to the day room, guys, you know, some of them are carrying on what they ain't going to do and some are real.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we're getting knives. So everybody went into the day room, but they didn't want nothing, like he said. They didn't want it. And it ended up being squashed, but then I went back to the cell and whoever dropped, ratted me out. They came and got me. And I went to the hole, and then later on, he's sending me messages. They were, and he got it from one of the guards. Told him, no, they were all giving John up. So, I mean, it's just part of it, and so I think that, as like what you're saying, what do you go through with some of this stuff? You just kind of take it as what it was, and that's it.
They lost all respect when he ran.
Yeah. I was so mad at the time.
They lost all respect because. Yeah. They had a little respect, but their dudes like, hold up, they just ran, like.
Yeah.
And it's too many of them just to run.
Yeah.
There's too many of them just to run like that.
Yeah.
And left John by himself.
How did mentally you stay kind of sane during all your time in jail?
Pretty much stay away from a bunch of clowns.
And exercise, you worked out day and night.
Worked out day and night. I did a lot of reading. Yeah. I did a lot of reading.
Jails is like, it's not like college. I say the same thing. You stay with a couple of good guys. He stayed with Harp all the time, me. And that's it. You don't spread out to other people. Because then you know that there is no situations. And
yeah, then you know, that's when you know the caliber of people. I'm only dealing with certain caliber of people. The other people, I don't need to know them. I don't need to talk to them. I don't need to be bothered with them at all.
Did you ever, you know, how do you not let yourself get into a depression or, you know, just get down about the circumstance?
You know, my cousin says that to me. I guess you got to have a strong mentality. I mean, listen, it's already happened. You need to cry about it now.
Yeah.
It's too late. You always say that. That's a joke, running in jail. I should have cried before this happened. Now it's too late. Ain't going to do nothing now.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when I was younger, when I lose my top, I would cry.
Yeah.
So
I still do.
so someone said, so okay, so why you crying? So why do you cry? Why do you cry? I said, oh, I cry now because I know I'm about to go. I know I'm about to go do. So I don't have to cry later on when the judge start having our time. So you might as well get you crying in now. Yeah, that's what you did, right? Yeah, because it's too late to cry now. It's too late now. It's too late.
So, somebody said that at sentencing. He was crying. I go, fuck yeah, I was crying.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I ain't ashamed to say, like, listen, you know what? It's not wrong being real and human being. I say it all the time.
No, I didn't cry during my sentence. I was so upset. I could have bit the steel bars in this wall. I was so upset I couldn't believe it.
I remember I was in another joint, different joint. One guy got 3 years. He was a big guy. He was about 6'6". He's talking. He's running his mouth. This other guy goes out, and I told him don't go to trial. And he goes to trial, and he get banged. I forget what he got, like 27 or 35 years. So he's crying, right? And good guy, tough guy, nice guy. Really was a nice guy. I says, man, don't go to trial. Take the plea. I think they were offering him 16 years. He goes, no. Anyway, when he's crying, the other guy says to him, just 6'6", whatever he is. He says, oh, you want to cry? Or he said something to him. Now, the guy just got like 30 years, say. That's the wrong guy to say it to.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he stopped crying. He says, come in my cell. And he says, see, fucking, if you ain't going to have to worry about crying, I'll kill you. You'll never get home in 3 years. And all of a sudden, that guy was quiet. Was like a dog. And then I said something to him. I said, hey, man, you got 3 years. It's easy to talk like you're talking. It was 3 years. This guy's got 30 years, whatever he had. You know, and he wasn't that young either. You know, he was about 35, 40 years old at the time. So you're talking bullshit because you got 3 years. And then other guys jumped in on him, too, and started saying, man, go back to your cell and mind your business, man. Leave the guy alone.
Lucky he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, you're lucky he didn't get hurt. And he was a serious guy. He wasn't a guy that wasn't serious. He didn't have no bullshit case. He had a serious case. So, like, I'm going to say, like, who do you think you're talking? Don't overstep your, you know, where you should be. You know, some guys, they got a tendency of doing that, and they get killed or they get hurt real bad in that. Because mind your business.
Yeah, come on, what did I do?
Yeah. What did I do? Why did he split my wig?
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
a respect thing, and jail's a big thing about respect, especially because you're dealing with a lot of guys with emotions, like you just asked. Some guys are losing family members. Some guys, wives are leaving them. Some guys, you know, they're going through whatever's going through with them. Kids. It's not just about doing time. That's why I'm always telling the kids when we talk. Jail is just one aspect of it. The emotions is really 90% of it. What's going on with your family?
Yeah. Then I almost got beat up by the police one day, right? Coming out of the mess hall, so you know they pat you down. So one of them like he touched my private. So I'm like, and I wanted, my instinct was to hit him, but I can't hit him. So I'm gonna walk away, and he says to me, "What are you gonna do? Tell the warden?" When the warden got there.
Oh, she hated me. That Susan. She chained me to the. You know this. She chained me in
that's
the
one with
whole
the flicker.
solitary confinement.
Yeah.
She chained me to a chair,
Flick
not
the
even
lights
in
on,
the
right?
cell. Like a dog on a chair of whoever worked the unit in the hole in solitary. The whole jail knew about it. I'm like, this lady's crazy. She was crazy.
But they was, oh, you gonna tell her? Because people was running to her, and she was crazy with everybody. This not just inmates, CO.
Oh, everybody. Yeah,
right?
she was crazy.
And so
she had a drinking problem. She was a bad drunk.
So they was like, what you gonna do? Tell her? You gonna tell her, the warden? And so I just kind of lost it for a minute. I swung back around. I walked up to him. I said, what? I said, if I got a problem with any man, I saw it myself. Any man, right? I looked at him and I walked away. And I was walking away, I'm saying to myself, what is wrong with you? People will beat the hell out of you. And so the guy says to me, he says, hey, Yancey. And I said, oh, here it comes now. I turn around, he said, hey, I like you, man. I like you. I said, yeah, you're a real dude. I like you. There's not a problem out of us no more. And I ended up having a problem out of them again. That little beatdown squad they had. They could wait to jump.
You know, I'll tell you how crazy that ward was. We're in a chow hall. So after you finish eating, you take your tray and you dump it in the garbage. So he was an old man. He didn't want to finish his food. You know, you can eat whatever you want to eat. So he's walking past the ward and she said, oh, where you going? He goes, I'm going to throw it in the garbage. She goes, sit down and finish that. He goes, I ain't eating, I'm finished. She goes, sit down and finish that or you're going in the hole. I'm like, is this lady crazy? So I was wondering what the old man was going to do because he was like a quiet guy. He was not like he didn't stay with nobody. I don't know what his case was. He had a couple of years or whatever. And he throws it in the garbage. And she says, put him in the hole. She put him in the hole. And I'm like, hey, this crazy lady. Like, she was really, there's like one of those people you talk about abusive power.
Yeah.
I forget her last name. She was like the Polish or something. But she was she locked up everybody. She threw the whole jail and all. I mean, she lost control of the jail. We were bribing everybody in there.
She got everybody mad at her.
Yeah. Everybody, nobody
mad.
liked her. The staff didn't like her. We didn't like her. She had no business as a warden, and she was an alcoholic. And something, I think her daughter worked there or something. I forget what it was.
She made too many enemies.
Yeah.
Too fast.
Yeah, she came from
Too
MCC
fast.
originally, I
Too
heard.
fast. Yeah. She came in, it's like, she came in out like she was on the inmate side. They're like, oh, what? No, not having that.
They have a staff meeting once in a while. So they order all these steaks for the staff. We told us, I think, we stole all the staff steaks. We ate them all, gave them to all the inmates who were all cooking. And they got the burger, whatever they got the shit meat.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was funny. It was like Hogan's Heroes, that show that's on TV.
I feel like also it's a weird, the people that work in jails have to be a specific type of person. I mean, I heard, I think it was maybe you or somebody else the other day that was like, in a lot of ways, it's like they're doing half the time. You know,
you get good guards. You know, I'll tell you honestly, through all the years, you get some good ones and you get some shitty ones. The good ones, they'll tell you like this, like, you know, you're walking by and they give you direct order. Hey, buddy, do me a favor, pick that up. You know, it's garbage. And you'll say, yeah, no problem, because he said it to you, respect, gentlemen. Then you got other ones who say, yo, go pick that up. And now you're going to tell them, go fuck yourself. And I mean, if you're soft, you're going to say, well, you're going to the home. I don't give a fuck where I'm going. You ain't going to talk to me like that. So, you know, there's ways that some of them conduct themselves, and then you don't mind. But then there's ways where other ones conduct themselves, and you're not going to give in.
But you know what's so funny? I had a situation with these work officers. So I was like, he came over.
Well, you were in a Unicor.
Yeah. But before that, I was in one of these mills over there doing carpentry, and he came over and spoke for me because I lost a tool, a socket. So they want to lock you up. Socket, right?
It's a big deal, right?
So this guy comes over and speaks to me, telling him to let me out the hole. They're like, hold up, this guy's speaking for you. He doesn't like any damn body.
Yeah.
He doesn't like COs. He doesn't like nobody. You must be one hell of a dude, right? I'm like, who? Then I find out the officer that was speaking about, I'm like, yo, me and this dude argue every day. We argue every single day. So I asked the CO that I'm cool with. I said, oh, your man came over and he spoke for me. He said, man, don't that dude hate me? He laughed. He said, nah, he said he like you.
Yeah.
I said, he likes me? He said, yeah, because we're told that you guys are dangerous, y'all this, you're that. And when you get here, you're a bunch of wimps. Since we talk trash to y'all, you don't ever say nothing, you don't just accept it, and everything is cool, right? He says, you're not what they tell us that you are. He says, but he says, you, every time he talks shit to you, you say something back to him. So you never stop talking. So that's why I like you. He said, because you're not like these other guys. You know what I mean? He said, I'm like, I'm not accepting that because you got this little 10 bags. Doesn't make you better than me.
Yeah, it doesn't make you abusive.
Yeah, you're not going to abuse me. I'm not accepting, and I'm not scared of the hole. Bring the hole on.
There was a guy from Penn State, Joe. I forget Joe's last name. He was a star. He was a wrestler. He was a good guy. He used to work the other unit. He didn't really work our unit that much, but he hated that one too. I don't think he never got involved in all the corruption with all of us, you know, because we had a lot of cops at the time, all corrupt. And but he wasn't one of those guys, but he was a good guy. He would, wrestle around and fool around because he was really a top wrestler. And I forget his last name.
Because my friend get into a little fight real quick, and being it didn't escalate, he let it go. He didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a little fist fight. He's like, okay.
Yeah, a lot of them are good,
Won't be no knife involved.
Yeah, right.
That right there. He's like, no, it's okay, you good then.
We got to wrap in a second, but do you have any, I guess because we want to keep this to help other people, what do you think is, based off of your life experience, what is the best message you have for the young kids out there that just might be in positions that are just in trouble, like that are either at the end of their sentences or they're on the street right now just up to no good? Like, how do you help them? How do you hope that your life can be an inspiration to others?
Well, I'll let them know that you can turn your life around. You can just stop doing what you're doing and do something different. I think, like I heard a song say, let your dream be your scheme, right? When I was young, I didn't have a dream like that. You know what I mean? It's just something I want to do. But like, if you want to do something, let that be your scheme. Let that be what you work for every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're gonna get there. That's how you grow. If you want to be a DJ, work on your craft every day. If you want to be an MC, work on your craft every day. Whatever you want to be, have to work on it every day, and stay focused on it, and don't lose sight of your dream. That's what happens in the street. Usually, you have in the street, you say, well, I need some money. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna get out the way. And then once you get those things, you forget about you need to get out the way. You don't get out the way.
You know what you got to think about? Now that my daughter's gone, will you make a mistake? Is it more important making a mistake or being there for your grandson? Is it more important to be there for your son, your sons, and your kids, or to fulfill your ego to when someone tries to, go after you and whatever they're trying to do? As a young kid, as an older guy, whatever, you got to say priorities are what? And your priorities got to be like positive people, like the agent that was up on the stage. It's a positive person. People can say what they want. The majority, 99% of people know that that's the right way to be. Gentlemen, live your life, go to work, do the right thing. And I'm not talking about some of the agents I don't like from Washington, D.C., because they're worse than the gangsters for what they're doing. But I'm talking about being a product of your environment is your choice. You can be a good product or you can be a negative product. You got guys like Dan that we're talking about, Brownsville. He's such a gentleman, and unfortunately, like us, he had a son that was in jail, who was in jail for a lot of years, and he lost the son. And we got to make those choices, and we can tell these kids, don't ruin your life. Go to the beach, man. You want to sit in a cell, or you want to go to the beach? You want to be with your girl, or you want to be in a cell? You start choices and let that ego go, because you can get to a fight every day, or you can get to a worse thing every day. And if you think that money's going to make you happy, you're wrong.
You're right, John. And this part of you talk about the loneliness and things that you miss. I didn't realize how much I missed until I came home.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I missed. You try to tell yourself, no, I'm not missing nothing. It's no big deal. It's one way you're gonna make it do it. Just telling you, psyching yourself.
You lie
out.
yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you lie yourself, you psych yourself out. Then when you get home, you realize all the things that you've missed. Like you miss your relatives, you miss the kids growing up, your nieces, and you miss
Just
everything.
going in the shower
everything.
without shower shoes. You know what the showers are like?
Yeah.
And I tell everybody who doesn't know, they shit in the showers, they jerk off in the showers, they piss in the showers.
They do everything.
They do everything in those showers. You just want to go home and sit in the shower or bathtub, clean.
Yeah. Yo, wait, a bathtub. That was.
You remember when I went in the bathtub?
The bathtub's like, oh my God, it's like a new world.
Yeah.
Because it's just a shower. The shower's there. That's it. You know what I mean? It ain't the same.
I went in a bathtub in a jail. I got caught going in. They had a bathtub in the old jail. Yeah, I swear to God. I went in and everybody was. I locked in, and I said, I don't care what happens. And they put me in a hole. I go, you got to be kidding me. There's a bathtub in there.
Nobody's using.
Well, Derrick, a pleasure, really a pleasure to have had you both at the live show and then today here.
Yeah, brother, I gotta tell you, reconnect with you again is
Hey,
amazing.
listen, if you could have seen my heart just bust with joy,
Yeah.
and I see this guy,
Yeah.
man, like,
Yeah.
you know, it was just,
Yeah, it's great. It is.
yeah. I sat back and I prayed for you
Yeah.
while you was on the run. I was like, man, this is a good dude, and all this is happening, and you know, pray to God he make it out of it. And he sure did, boy.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, sir. You deserve it, man. You
Thank you.
deserve it, man. Everybody's, you know, for the most part, he was a good guy. He carried them dudes in there, and that's why I don't know, like, why they did him dirty like that. But he carried them. It wasn't for him. Most of them, they had to leave this place. They couldn't stay there.
Right.
You know?
All right. Well, we'll have that live show up that Derrick is talking about when he first sees John, or when they first reunite for the first time in 20 years. That's on our Patreon channel. But we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
See you guys. Questions, ask, write them away. We'll answer them.
Beautiful. Cool.